Hi, this is Michael, and today I'm reviewing an ultrasonic cleaner. It is the Derui, D-E-R-U-I, DR-DS30. It's a 3-liter ultrasonic cleaner. It's got some great features. It works really well. It's probably the one piece of equipment that you did not know that you should buy because it is so useful and versatile around the home and also in the workshop. If you're a mechanic, if you work on small engines, ultrasonic cleaner is fantastic for cleaning small engine parts, carburetors, all sorts of tools. You can clean rust off of sockets. It removes grease. It's really awesome. Most cleaning can be done with just using plain distilled water, but you can also use cleaning agents in conjunction with the ultrasonic cleaner. You can use everything from like Dawn dish soap. You can even use degreasers. All sorts of different specialized chemicals can be used in conjunction with the ultrasonic cleaner for specific cleaning tasks. But many things, water will do the trick, and maybe just in the addition of a little bit of Dawn dish soap or some other gentle type of soap. So let me show you the cleaner and I'll discuss its operation with you right now. So here it is. It's the Derui ultrasonic cleaner. Again, this is the DR-DS30. It is a 3-liter cleaner. What you get is the user guide here, which is not as useful as I would like to see, especially if you're not that familiar with ultrasonic cleaning. It doesn't really go into a great amount of detail, but it does have the basic amount of information that you will need to get started using this. But I would suggest doing some more research on your own, watch some YouTube videos, just learn a little bit more about the pros and cons of an ultrasonic cleaner. Now this particular cleaner has very easy operation. It comes with a lid to close it up when it's in operation. Most of the time, unless I'm cleaning something for a very long period of time, I usually don't use the lid. It doesn't really splatter water out when it's in operation, but I'll discuss that in a little more detail. Now this cleaner does come with a basket, and it's actually important to use the basket because the transducers that create the ultrasonic energy inside this machine, you don't want objects to be resting right on the bottom directly because that will not be nearly as effective as having the item raised off the bottom so that the ultrasonic waves, the ultrasonic energy can reach all around the object that you are cleaning. Now, so there's also a fill line in here. This is the fill line. It's not really clear in the manual. I was expecting to see actually a little etched line or something, but this is the fill line. You do not ever want to use this machine or any ultrasonic cleaner without the proper amount of water or cleaning agent in the machine. You will destroy the transducers if you don't have enough liquid in this. So always fill it to the top of the fill line here and you will be good to go. Now this is stainless steel. You can clean it quite easily. This does not remove from the machine, however. You do have to manually pour the water out of this or the cleaning agent because there is no drain. Some ultrasonic cleaners actually have a drain, and that makes emptying it and changing your cleaning agent or water a lot easier, but it's not a big deal, and so that's what the deal is with that. Now as far as the controls, basically you have touch controls here, and this is the timer function. It does have a memory, and it goes from 1 minute up to infinity, but I believe that tops out at 60 minutes. Not absolutely positive because I've never run it for infinity. But in any case, you can adjust the operating time by moving the dial 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And very rarely are you going to have to operate this for longer than probably 10 or 15 minutes. But something that is heavily rusted or really, really bad shape, you might need to run it for a long period of time. Then over here we have the temperature. This has a heating element in it, which is fantastic because a warm solution, cleaning solution, is going to be more effective, generally speaking, than something that's just at room temperature. So this goes from 30 degrees centigrade up to 80 degrees, and that's roughly 80 degrees Fahrenheit up to 180. Now, I did not find this temperature setting to be accurate. However, it seems to be off by about 10 degrees. So a setting of 100, for instance, when I measured the temperature using my digital thermometer, it measured 106 degrees. At 140 degrees, on the setting here, it actually measured 151 degrees. And at the maximum heat of 180 Fahrenheit, it actually measured 190 degrees. So just keep that in mind. At least on the unit that I have, it seems to be 10 degrees hot. So add 10 to whatever value you see here as far as Fahrenheit temperature, and or check it yourself. Maybe my machine is just a little off for some reason. So there's not much to show you otherwise. There are handles on each side for picking this up, and then on the back you've got your power cord, and here's the label. Label's a little interesting. It says it's 110 to 120 volts AC, 40 hertz. Not so sure. I think in the US we have 50-60 hertz, 50/60 hertz. So that may be mislabeled there. And coincidentally, the user guide does specify that it is 50/60 hertz. All right, as you can see, I have filled this with water to the fill line. And again, you always want to make sure that you have this full. You are going to get evaporation as this operates, or if you keep the cleaning agent in there for an extended period of time, more than just one use, which most people will do, it'll evaporate. You want to make sure you top it off so that it's always at the top of the fill line, or you could damage the transducer. And also the DeGas function, which is one of the functions on this, is intended to get any air out of the water, any air bubbles that might be in the water. That's what DeGas means. It gets the air bubbles out, because if you have air bubbles, that will degrade the effectiveness of the ultrasonic cleaning action. They don't really specify how long you need to run the DeGas function, but normally 5 to 10 minutes will do the trick. And so it's better safe than sorry. Always run the DeGas. So you have touch buttons here. On/off is at the very bottom, and it'll beep, and it'll also light a little LED there to let you know that the unit is on. This is your start and pause button. And then this is the DeGas button. Set it for how many minutes you want to run the DeGas function. I'll just set it to 3 here. Start it and then push DeGas. And it's just running the DeGas function. It's just turning the transducer on and off, and it's going to eventually cause any air bubbles to be removed from the water. So we don't need to sit here for that entire period of time, so I'll just stop it. And then the sweep. But what the sweep is it takes the operating frequency, which this machine is 37 kilohertz. That is the ultrasonic frequency being used. Sweep actually just modulates that frequency and plus or minus a few kilohertz. And that just gives you a more thorough cleaning action. Certain things require more precise cleaning. I guess that would be the right word to use. And the sweep function will do precisely that. If you're just putting something in that doesn't require precise cleaning, like if you're putting a rusty pair of pliers in there, for instance, you could just operate this without using the sweep function. But it doesn't hurt to use the sweep function, in my opinion, so I usually use the sweep function. Again, so we're just going to set the temperature to 100 degrees Fahrenheit here, and that is actually going to be ending up being about 106 degrees, and I'm going to set this for 3 minutes, and I'm going to just turn this on. So you can see I don't have the basket in there, so I'm going to put the basket in there. Again, this is just to prevent any object that you're cleaning from resting on the bottom. Now, what can you clean in this? Well, you can clean just about anything in this, but there are some things you absolutely do not want to try cleaning. A lot of people use these to clean jewelry. However, if you put a diamond ring in here, and if that diamond has an occlusion in it, you could end up cracking that diamond. So you want to be very careful about the jewelry that you do put in here. Pearls, you do not want to put pearls in here. Anything that is porous, that is not the kind of thing you want to use in an ultrasonic cleaner. So do your due diligence, do your research before you put fine jewelry in here, because some things could actually be damaged by an ultrasonic cleaner. Now I have a coffee, this is one of those mesh coffee filters. You know, we just run this through the dishwasher to clean it every once in a while, but you can see it is stained here. Now I have never actually attempted this before. I'm just doing it now for my demonstration, but I'm going to put this in here, and I'm only going to put it in about halfway. Let's see if I can just let it sit there. So there's going to be a portion of this that is not in the water, and this is just plain water in here. I could have put a little detergent in there, but I just wanted to try it with plain water first. Let's just see if this, in just a few minutes time, will clean that stain off of this wire mesh. So we'll check back in this in just a minute. While this is still cleaning, I wanted to give you a couple other tips about the operation. When this is on a timed amount of minutes, like 3 minutes right now, you can change this while it's operating. So I'm going to change it to 5 minutes, and you can see that it did update itself to 5 minutes. Again, you can also pause it while it's operating if you just want to check how clean the item is, and if it's not quite up to spec yet, then you can just start it up again. All right, I'm going to add a little bit of Dawn in here, and actually the ultrasonic cleaner is actually going to distribute that Dawn in there. I don't even really have to mix it up. You can see how the Dawn that I dropped in there is being swirled around. The ultrasonic cleaner, the way it works is it essentially creates micro bubbles. Micro bubbles are the magic to an ultrasonic cleaner, and they are like little jackhammers just beating away at the dirt and the rust or whatever you're trying to get off the object that's in there. So it's like a fire hose of micro bubbles being blasted at the object. And the cleaning agent, in this case Dawn dish soap, is just going to help enhance the cleaning action. All right, so that's been cleaning away for a few minutes now. Pull this out, and you can see it is marginally better. It didn't quite get all that stain off though, but it is definitely a little better than when I started off. So let me flip it over to get this part that hadn't been cleaned at all. And you can see the water is a little cloudy too, so that is definitely an indication that some of that stain did come off. So we'll give it a few more minutes and see what we end up with. Also, remember, I set the temperature to 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm checking the temperature right now, and it's at 107.7 or so. So let's just call it 107 or 108. So that's running about 8 degrees hot at that setting, and that actually increases to about 10 degrees once you get into the higher temperatures. Talking about the sweep function, this is running without sweep on. Just listen to the sound. It seems fairly steady and consistent. Now I'm going to push the sweep. You can hear that pulsating sound. That's the modulation. So it's going up some kilohertz and down some kilohertz, and the center frequency is 37 kilohertz. So I'll just leave it on sweep for the remainder of this cleaning session. All right, the cleaning process has ended, and let me just pull this out of here. So you can see that it's still some stain on there, but it's definitely lighter than it was. And I think I mentioned earlier that this was a steel mesh. I misspoke. This is actually a nylon mesh. So I believe that if this were a stainless steel mesh like some of these baskets are, it probably would have cleaned up almost perfectly. But because this is not stainless steel but actually a nylon mesh, I believe this has just been permanently stained by the coffee grounds. So this may be not the best example of how effective the ultrasonic cleaner is, but it is one example of how you could use it, and it actually did clean it up a bit. So we'll try something else in here and just see how that fares. All right, here's something else. This is just a hammer that I've got in my tool chest. It's become a little rusted a little bit, and it's got some gunk on there. I don't even know what that might be. But let's put this in the ultrasonic cleaner for a little while and see what happens. So I'm just going to place it right in here like that and turn this baby on. And I've got it set for 15 minutes, so we'll come back in 15 minutes and see if this thing ends up looking a little better or not. All right, I just got a paper towel and just dried this off, and look at that. I mean, this it took off a lot of stuff off of this hammer. Now there's still, you know, some rust residue there, but it actually feels pretty smooth, and probably a little bit of steel wool would get all of that off. But this is just being in that ultrasonic cleaner for 10 minutes. So that did a really nice job on that. Now this water is getting pretty gross in here. I'm going to clean this out, replace it with fresh warm water, and I'm going to put a little more Dawn dishwasher in there. And I've got a few coins and a piece of jewelry here. This is gold, and particularly this is probably going to do a great job on this chain, which is very fine mesh. And that's where ultrasonic cleaner really comes into play. It can get into all those little tiny crevices in there, and let's just see what that looks like with fresh water and another go in the ultrasonic cleaner. All right, I've got fresh clear water in there, and I've got a little bit of Dawn dish soap in there again. You might be wondering, well, how do I know if my ultrasonic cleaner is powerful enough or actually working? Well, this is just a real quick test here. All you need to do is get a piece of aluminum foil, and there are many ways to do this test, but I'm just doing it real quick here. I'm just going to put this in just for a few seconds, maybe about 30 seconds, and what you will see is you will see lots of tiny holes being developed inside this aluminum foil. And that simply means that the ultrasonic cleaner is doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing. It's creating little micro bubbles that are strong enough to actually tear right through this aluminum foil. Look at that. So let me hold this up to the light and you can see all the holes. It's really kind of amazing, and maybe you can't even see those holes quite well enough, but can you see all that? All the holes in there. And that was in there for what, 15-20 seconds. So that means your machine is working. Now I'm going to put in 3 silver coins I just had laying around. Well, 2 silver coins, and that other one is probably copper. I'm not even sure what that is actually. Let me just drop these in there, put those in there for a couple minutes and see if they come out a little better than they went in. Alrighty, I've just taken these out of the cleaner, and you can see that they have cleaned up quite a bit. All I did was dry them off with the paper towel. And this coin, which is a centavos, you know, didn't get, it is what it is. There you go. So the next thing I want to try to clean is this gold necklace. Particularly, I'm interested to see whether we can see a difference in the chain. And I'm just going to toss it in there carefully. This is solid gold. To see whether this does a nice job or not. Place it in there, turn it on. All right, that has been in there for about 5 minutes, so I'm just going to turn it off and retrieve it. The chain, ultrasonic, really made the chain wiggle around a lot, and it sort of actually got it tangled up here. That's really weird. Okay, there we go. Let me put it on this cloth rag here. All right, I'm just going to fiddle with this a little bit, dry it off, and then give you the close-up of it. All right, this came out beautifully. Unbelievable how this just completely shined up, and especially the chain. I know I've got all these shadows and everything here, but this thing is just sparkling, and it was definitely not doing that when I initially put it in. I wish I could display this in a better way, but you can see how shiny that is, and it definitely had a dingy look to it when I showed it to you initially. But really very happy with how that came out. It's just unbelievable. So the bottom line is the ultrasonic cleaner is really very versatile, and if you use the correct cleaning solvent for whatever it is that you're trying to clean, I think you'll be quite happy. As for this particular brand and this particular model, I have no complaints. It seems to be working flawlessly. It has done a good job on most everything I've put in there so far, and I'm still learning how to use it in the best way possible. And I think the next step for me is to experiment with different cleaning solutions. All right, guys, that is it for this review of the Derui DR-DS30. Again, oh man, I just can't believe what a nice job it did, especially on the chain links. Just boggles my mind. This was so dingy before. So this Derui DR-DS30 definitely did a great job. It's really amazing to me how reasonably priced these ultrasonic cleaners are today, and this seems to be a pretty good brand, at least my experience with this particular model. If you have any questions about ultrasonic cleaners, I'm no total expert, but I have learned quite a lot in the week or so that I've been reading up about them and using this one. So feel free to ask the question, and if I can answer it, I'll certainly do my best. Until next time, peace out, stay healthy, catch you next time, bye.